if you want to be ignorant and think being old school liberal is the equivalent of conservative, you're naive about politics and you're tribal, which is our big problem. No, I'm not a conservative. I'm always going to call it as I see it, always have, and it always has been somewhat from both sides. But yes, the left is nuttier now than they used to be by a good measure, and
yes, but the right is much worse.
So here's what's happening. Bill Maher brings on Fran Lebowitz, and right away the conversation turns intense. The host of this video clearly thinks her views are completely out of touch, and what stands out most is that even Maher, who usually leans more liberal, is pushing back hard. That alone is being framed as proof that the discussion has gone way beyond normal disagreement.
The truth is that America looks very different than it ever did.
Well, there's a lot of things that are better now.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you wouldn't know this, but it is a billion times better to be a girl now than when I was a girl.
Right. There you go. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
There's no comparison.
Right.
I mean, there's not, and it's not good. It's not perfect, but it's a billion times better.
No, keep talking, honey.
You know, I mean, there's no comparison. You know, I mean,
You're right.
when I was a girl, if you asked to do something, and your parents said no, and you say why, the answer very frequently was because you're a girl.
Yes.
And the response was, oh.
Right.
I mean, my response wasn't like to start, you know,
right.
a feminist movement. My response was, oh.
Right. No.
I mean, and that was common.
That, you know, I just object to this thing. Steven Pinker, I stole this from, I give him credit, but I did a thing about it. He called this progressivophobia, that there is something on the left that does not want to admit progress because somehow it equates with, but we should be doing more. Yes, of course, we should always be doing more. Can we just be adults and just imagine that as we begin the conversation, we've already agreed on that, as we have. We should always be doing more. We are not perfect and we are not just enough. There's a lot of more work to do, a lot more. And there's this other side of the story, which should be celebrated. I mean, progressives, it's right in your name. That's what you should be celebrating, progress.
I know we don't agree on this, and I also didn't mention this.
Well, you just said you...
But I agree on that.
Oh.
But this, which I'm about to say. I know, last night I did a speaking day here in L.A., and I take questions from the audience for 1 hour. First,
the argument then shifts into a bigger point about what progressive really means today. The claim being made is that some people believe everything must constantly change, even if there's no real benefit. Instead of improving things, is described as replacing systems just for the sake of calling it progress. The speaker points out how modern life is already easier in many ways, especially compared to the past, and questions why certain long-standing values are being challenged without a clear purpose.
Shouted at me. Why did Bill Maher say this and this and this, which I didn't see you say because I didn't see the show, and he's becoming a conservative. And why is that happening? I said, first of all, I'm not in charge of Bill Maher. Okay? Like, he does not consult me on what his opinions are. But I said, and second of all, as far as I know, Bill Maher is not a Democrat. He's a libertarian. Is that not true?
I don't ascribe to any of those names. I've never formally said I was a Democrat except maybe once when Trump was in office, and I was like, okay, we can't fuck around anymore, whoever the Democrat is. And look, I voted mostly for the Democrat. I would say more than libertarian. The Joe Rogan, I heard him talk about it, and very appreciative. He was saying, you know, old school liberal is really the right term.
Well, that's what I am. I always say,
and it is.
I'm a very conventional.
And that's a very different thing than woke. And if you want to be ignorant and think being old school liberal is the equivalent of conservative, you're naive about politics and you're tribal, which is our big problem. No, I'm not a conservative. I'm always going to call it as I see it, always have, and it always has been somewhat from both sides. But yes, the left is nuttier now than they used to be by a good measure, and
yes, but the right is much worse.
Quick pause here. If you enjoy content like this, make sure to support the channel. It helps more than you think. Now let's jump back into the discussion.
They are too. I agree.
No, not much worse than I used to be. Much worse.
And I don't fail to make that point. Right. So anyone
I was not the one who said.
No, I know.
Why did Bill Maher say this?
And I'm so sorry that you have to answer for me. It's so ridiculous.
It just happened that night.
As the debate continues, frustration grows over what's seen as a refusal to admit mistakes. Instead of agreeing or acknowledging any fault, the response is described as shifting the blame toward political opponents. This leads into a wider comparison between left and right, where the speaker defends certain conservative positions like controlling immigration, reducing crime, and limiting foreign involvement. At the same time, there's also recognition that not everything on the right is perfect, especially when it comes to adapting to new information or changing circumstances.
People stop me and
The
go,
street.
why did Bill Maher say this? And I say, I don't know. Why don't you ask him
Stop.
why he said
You
this?
know what? If you can, I would say to those people, if you don't have an open mind, don't watch the show, because that's who I do it for. Really, I could take it. I have lost some audience, and they're tribal people, and it's fine. You know, it's like good riddance. I'm not interested in people like that. I'm interested in people, especially the ones who are like, you know what? I am mostly in the liberal bubble. It probably would be good to hear another point of view. And again, I do most of my material against the right, but doesn't matter. They are in the tribal bubble of where I only want to hear what I already think I know, and I don't want to have my side challenged because the other side is so bad. The other side is so bad. I still want to hear the whole truth.
I don't. Because it's not the truth. If it was the truth, I would.
Oh,
you know, but
well,
I said to someone recently, I didn't used to hate Republicans. I just disagreed with them. There's a difference. You know, but the people who are Republicans now, I mean, professional Republicans, they're nothing like Republicans used to be.
Of course, they're not.
And they're basically...
neither are the woke. Anything like Democrats.
But here's the thing. This woke stuff, I mean, the reason that it bothers people so much, I think, is because there's a lot of silly stuff attached to it. I agree.
Oh.
Some of it is just silly.
It's silly stuff
Yes,
that actually
but the
affects a
center
lot of
it
lives.
is not silly. The center of it is real.
No, I wouldn't call it the center. The past of it. When the word was first out there, it meant alert to injustice. Yes, great. No one can argue with that. Certainly not me. Certainly it's been a theme of mine since I was on television beginning in the 90s. So, okay, it morphed into something that was an eye roll.
Yes, but not all of it.
Not all of it.
To me, I don't really care about it.
A lot
because
of it.
A lot of it is silly. I don't pay attention to silly.
Well,
okay,
But it's silly that's affecting lives. It's silly that they're teaching children. It'd be fine if it was silly and it was a cartoon in a magazine or something, but it's not. It's on a very granular level. Why do you think parents are like? Why do you think DeSantis got 60% of the vote
in Florida?
He's in Florida.
Florida's not the world. Let me say something.
Florida's not the world. It's not the world, but you know what it is? It is an absolutely great epitome of America because it's a little of everything. It's ethnic, it's Jews, it's rednecks, it's the panhandle, you got it all in Florida.
It's the Confederacy.
Toward the end, the focus turns to how politics affects everyday life depending on where you live. Florida is described as a place where people with different views can coexist more easily, while cities like Los Angeles or San Francisco are portrayed as less tolerant of opposing opinions. Personal experiences during COVID restrictions, including travel limitations to Toronto, are used to reinforce that point. The overall message is that political momentum may be shifting with references to election outcomes like Donald Trump winning the popular vote. And it wraps up by asking viewers to share their thoughts.